dramatic effect. Now, this gigantic Human Mutant trilogy by Gordon has themes that include the fear of the violation of nature, the divine punishment that soon follows, the ability of the military to combat the threat, and the new possibilities that can arise through radiation. All right, let's get into our final film in the mutated human category. This film is a true surreal classic and the masterwork of director Jack Arnold. The Incredible Shrinking Man. This is 1957, which was produced by Universal Pictures and starts Grant Williams and Randy Stewart. Randy's actually a girl. She plays Mrs. Incredible Shrinking Man. Now, the film features a tragic suburban hero and is a profound metaphor of paranoia and loss. This one is a truly great movie, a true classic in the radioactive sci-fi genre films of the 1950s. Its basic premise is unscientific, but it has a very powerful storyline. A gray flannel suit type, suburban businessman Grant Williams becomes contaminated by a mysterious radioactive cloud, and about 6 months later, he begins to shrink. This unfortunate character relaxes one day on his brother's small pleasure boat. He's at sea and is then enveloped by the radiation. He begins to notice that he is losing weight and that his body is shrinking. Now, he loses not only height and weight, but he loses his career, and his marriage also breaks down. Eventually, he is imprisoned in his own suburban home due to the influx of sightseers and reporters. The smaller he gets, the more menaced he becomes. And what was once safe and comforting becomes increasingly threatening to him as he continues to shrink. He suffers severe sexual anxiety as his wife looms ever larger over him, and his cat becomes a hungry monster. The feline felt nothing but affection for him when he was 6 feet tall, but is now only too eager to eat him when he's 6 inches tall. As I mentioned, he's confined to his own apartment. Well, eventually he's marooned in his own basement. And he continues to shrink in size. His basement becomes a type of surrealist jungle, forcing the Incredible Shrinking Man to adapt to his new environment like a type of mini Robinson Crusoe. He goes on a type of odyssey in the cavernous basement, which is now an inhospitable jungle to him. And the Shrinking Man battles a voracious spider. Now, this is the same real-life spider that was used in Tarantula. Ultimately, he kills it. But he is now so small that he can escape the basement jungle. And he walks between the wires of a window screen. As I mentioned, there's a transcendental climax. The Incredible Shrinking Man accepts his fate and finds comfort and an end to his fear. It will be a type of adventure, seeing even smaller realms, and he reconciles himself to the fact that he will soon be reduced to nothingness. He then disappears completely in a joyful epiphany as he becomes a bit of cosmic dust, as small as the atom itself, as the wind blows and stars glitter. The Incredible Shrinking Man will still have a place in the vastness of creation. This movie features a very intelligent script by Richard Matheson, based on his own novel. Matheson is best remembered for the novel I Am Legend, and for some of the Twilight Zone episodes he wrote. The screenplay focuses on the fragility of ordinary life and the discovery of beauty and weirdness in the familiar. Now, director Jack Arnold and the writer Richard Matheson make a very interesting team and pool their ideas and resources together, creating a truly unforgettable film. The movie features excellent special effects by Clifford Steen. It's a showcase for how these special effects should be done. Exemplary use of rear projection and oversized props. The Incredible Shrinking Man was very well received by the critics and was a mega hit at the box office. A sequel was quickly planned. Matheson wrote a treatment, the Fantastic Shrinking Girl, that was supposed to be produced the following year, but sadly it never happened. The wife follows her husband into the microscopic world and finds him, and they begin to grow taller together. The process begins to reverse itself. They return to the basement where they battle a rat in the finale. It's a shame that this was never made. It would have been an interesting movie. Now, these radioactive sci-fi mutation movies lingered on into the first years of the 1960s, but they slowly lost their box office appeal. The gimmick of the radiation-induced monster mutation became important to the sci-fi genre, but the particular configuration of the mutated monster became the only aspect that differentiated one movie from another. Soon these films begin to lose the interest of the audience. There were extreme attempts to squeeze any remaining profits from the fading genre. For example, The Beast of Yucca Flats, 1959, a blending of secret atomic information, communist espionage agents invading extraterrestrials, and a giant radiation-created mutant monster into one very convoluted and confusing movie. The low box office returns soon killed off the mutant monsters faster than any military intervention could have ever hoped to do so. Alternative scenarios and new applications of the nuclear theme, global fallout, doomsday machines, and mutually assured destruction would soon begin to proliferate Hollywood. But that's another show. I will do a third program on these radioactive sci-fi monster movies somewhere down the road a piece, because I've only told 2/3 of the story. I'm going to focus on the third show. We're going to focus on alien invasions and the post-apocalyptic America as envisioned in the radioactive sci-fi 50s. All right, but that's going to be a little while.